So I'm feeling pretty shitty at the moment, so I'm just gonna talk. Uh, Maybe not necessarily about anything in particular, but I just want to talk and just see where it goes. I just want to get some. I just need a rant, so indulge me a bit. From the moment I was born, I've always been, well, different, for lack of a better word. Um, I know that sounds cliche, but it's actually pretty true in my case. Uh, when I was a little kid, I don't remember. I actually don't remember any of this. I just kind of know through secondhand knowledge. But I used to have hearing problems when I was a kid. They actually had to put tubes in eventually. But when I was at like daycares and stuff like that, I had to. Apparently, I was in the corner of the room in a fetal position with my hands over my ears and my eyes closed really shut, just like begging for the sounds in the world to stop and just be quiet for like 5 minutes. And even as I grow older, I had this kind of rare condition. I don't know if there's a name for it, but where like my bones were growing faster than my skin could adapt. So like my head, like the skin of my face is like really really tight, and it would just split open like that, like in the slightest little nick, and it required stitches every time. I have like 3 scars, like one on my forehead and one on the side of my head, and one on my chin because of this. Um, but oh yeah. And there was even one point when doctors actually thought I was autistic. But my dad took me away from that before they can actually officially diagnose me, although granted, jury's still kind of out on that one. My point is that I can't really think of any time in my life when I didn't feel like the outsider. Like I didn't belong anywhere. Even with my childhood friends, I can't. I was never really one of them. And I think most of them knew that about me. And the ones who didn't boss me around because of that never really accepted me either. Not completely. It took me a long time to accept that. And I've embraced being different in a lot of ways. But that doesn't change the feeling of isolation and the loneliness that comes with it. Sometimes I'll go to a mall or a coffee shop or just anywhere there's lots of people, and I'll usually go alone. And I'll just sit down and I'll just watch people as they go about their normal lives. Sometimes when I'm looking at these people, like I'm observing, it feels almost like I'm looking at the world through a one-way mirror. Like I'm there, but I'm not there. Like they can't see me, and why would they? Just I'm a nobody that just sitting there, not saying anything, not doing anything to gain attention, just observing. And I think I share a common desire with people like me and even with people who aren't, who just want to be understood. I just want to feel like they belong somewhere, anywhere. Even if it's only with one person. That alone would be nice. But even with all that searching, I still feel like I haven't found it yet. I feel like I've come close a couple times. And I've met people along the way that I wouldn't trade for anything, but I still struggle with trying to escape from that feeling of that empty feeling of being alone. It's overwhelming sometimes. It's not necessarily like a constant foreboding sense of isolation, and it can actually be nice from time to time, but other times, like, I'll see, like, for example, people in a group together laughing, or I'll see a couple together holding hands, and I'll get these selfish thoughts, like, Like, why can't that be me? Or why can't I keep that going? Why am I sitting here alone in a coffee shop or a mall just watching people? Why am I here alone? I don't always have a good answer. It's even worse, like when I have a crush on someone, or sometimes even significantly stronger feelings than that, and for one reason or another they're unavailable. Like either they don't feel the same way, or they're already with somebody, and I get a reminder of that fact. That more than likely what I want, what I'm hoping for, is just not gonna happen. And probably never will. It just, I wish, when that happens, I get this overwhelming sensation, this horrible, crushing sensation that it feels like my heart is caving in on itself, and caving on itself with loneliness and pain, and every time it happens, it's just one of the most painful experiences I've had the misfortune of experiencing over and over and over again. And it feels like all of my emotions are trying to burst out of me like one of the monsters from the movie Aliens. And the worst part is that I am completely defenseless against this. Like, I don't know how to deal with it. I've even on days when I have a strong sense that I'm gonna get one of those reminders, I spent the whole day, maybe even the week, mentally preparing myself to see or hear or get some kind of indication of what's going on that I'm not gonna like. But it doesn't make a lick of difference. I remember one time, shortly after a breakup, I don't remember exactly what the trigger was, but I was driving home from school, and I don't know what it was. Something just triggered all the emotions of it, just like that, and they all just came flooding forth, and I just fucking panicked. And it hit me so fast and so hard that I couldn't do anything except deal with the impulsive response with it. And I just started. I just started screaming at the top of my lungs, and I just started crying my eyes out. I had to pull over the road just to do this. So I wouldn't cause a car crash, and I am screaming and crying at the top of my lungs for 20 minutes. By the time I was done, my jaw was tired. My voice was hoarse. My eyes were just hurting. It just felt like every part of my whole body was just trying to pour itself out of me through these little escapes. And God, it wasn't exactly my most glorious moment. I guess there are just days when I'm just so frustrated and angry and sad and depressed, when I feel this alone, this lonely, this isolated from the rest of the world. And oddly enough, it's only made worse when I'm usually around large groups of people, because then it's almost like I'm more aware of it. And it just feels like every attempt I've ever made to change that just falls apart for one reason or another. And it kills me every time. And yet I get up and I try again anyway, and I know I'm going to keep trying no matter what happens. I feel like on one hand I'm setting myself up for failure, but on the other hand, I also feels like, I don't know. I guess maybe that's like the hope that's keeping me going. Like that's the driving force. It's like a secret hope that things will change and get better. I know my video is usually more comforting than this, but honest to God, that's where this is still something I'm actively struggling with. And I don't have the answers for this one. I guess if there's any comfort to be taken away from this video, is that if anything I've said over the past few minutes has caught your attention or related to you at all, then know that while it is a struggle, that it's not a struggle you're facing alone, even if it feels that way. I'm sorry, but that's the best I got. If you are struggling with this and you want to talk about it, you can leave a comment below, or if you just listen to this and you have some kind words to say to me or anyone else who's currently going through this, also leave a comment, and more than likely I'll address it in the next video. So, I guess that's it. So I'll talk to you all in my next video of MTCN Talks. Farewell.